The Titans are looking to fully revamp their team and their front office in 2024. Well, guess what? Front office? Check. Coaching staff? Check. What about the team, though? Well, that's the talk we're going to have on today's show. We appreciate you joining us here on Titans Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Jace Andrews. And before we get into some cut candidates that Ran Carthon could make to save himself some money, hit that subscribe button because we're on the road to 9,000 subscribers. The boss has said that they don't believe Titans Today is going to get to 9,000 before 2024. Well, I told them just watch. So hit that subscribe button. We already gained over 360 subscribers in this offseason. Let's just get a couple hundred more and we'll be right there at 9,000 subs. Man, heck, we get there. Let's try and go for 10. Why not? So hit that subscribe button. You're not going to find better Titans offseason coverage than right here on Titans Today. And that starts with cut candidates, which we're going to get into right now, with the first one being Andre Dillard. Now, I think this comes as a surprise to nobody because, well, he stunk. And when I say stunk, he was very, very bad. Now, in terms of money here, his cap hit in 2024 is going to be about over $10.5 million. Now, this is where it's going to come down to Ran Carthon and how long he's willing to wait to keep these players. Andre Dillard, if he is cut before June 1st, would have a savings amount of $2.8 million. Now, I remind you, the Titans have near $80 million of cap space at the current moment. So he could just wait until after June 1st and save himself almost an extra $4 million and have a 6.4 savings in that scenario. I think at this point, you're probably looking at a post-June 1st cut for Andre Dillard if they choose to cut him. And, well, I talk about how bad he was, but how really bad was he? Well, let's just say this. His PFF stats were terrible. He had a 51 PFF grade, which was 71st out of 81. He had 47.4 in the pass block rate, which was 75th out of 81 tackles. His 56.6 run block ranking was 53rd out of 79 tackles. And he allowed 12 sacks, which was tied for the most in the National Football League. Mind you, he got benched multiple times this season, so he could have allowed way, way, way more. I go back to the money, though. Because his savings would jump by almost $4 million after June 1st, I think the Titans are going to hold on to him. Now, how long exactly are they willing to do that is kind of where they sit him, because free agents are going to start flying off the board. If they want to save $2 million, try and sign somebody, we could see that. But as of right now, my prediction, they hang on to him until June 1st. But as soon as that day passes, goodbye Andre Dillard. Have a good season. Let's go to the next guy, and this one may come as a surprise to some of you. Malik Willis. Now, obviously, you look at it and say, Jace, the savings aren't really that much. He's only a cap hit of just over $1 million next year. He's still on that rookie contract. If you cut him before June 1st, he's only saving you less than $1 million. Well, yes, and obviously if it goes past June 1st, you get a little more, but I think the reasoning behind this is that Willis is going to be the backup Willis is going to be the backup to Will Levis. He's cheap, and that's good, but I don't think he's worth it. Why do I not think he's worth $1 million? Because Will Levis is your starting quarterback. You're going to go with him, and Malik Willis is just 1 year older than him. In my opinion, I feel like you need to go after a more secure backup, a more veteran-style backup quarterback. So it makes sense to just let Willis go. It seems like he was a failed product in Tennessee. It seems like he maybe needs a restart. And ultimately, Tennessee, if they found their guy, it's going to be Will Levis. It's not going to be Malik Willis. Now, the one thing I will say is rushing has been really good. But I ask you before I show you the stats, what to do with Malik Willis. You're Ran Carthon. You're looking at the contracts. You're seeing you could save yourself about $1 million by cutting him after June 1st. Are you cutting him? Well, let me know in the comment section of today's video. Type K if you're keeping him. Type C if you're going to cut Malik Willis ahead of the 2024 NFL season. We're going to give you a break. We'll have that YouTube ad. But, hey, go down there, put in your answer, scroll right back up. It'll be over. Let's look at Malik Willis' stats because overall, he hasn't had that much time to prove himself on the football field. 66 passing attempts in 11 games. Now, those 66 passing attempts resulted in barely over a 50% completion percentage. His yards is at 350, and then the big numbers that you see there on the right. No touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Now, I say this all to kind of backtrack myself and say that Malik Willis is a good rusher. He has 144 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. He is a little bit lackadaisical with the ball, fumbled it 4 times in his career, which, like you can expect, he's a young guy. He likes what he does with his feet. He can move pretty well. You're probably not going to be too worried about holding the ball. You're going to be worried about making sure you don't get hit hard, making sure you can get extra yards. Again, though, I want to go back to the main point about this, and I think this is the last thing I'll leave with Malik Willis. Ultimately, I know he's not that expensive, and I know that overall he's probably a decent guy to have as your backup slot. But I just feel like for Will Levis's sake, you need a veteran-style quarterback to back him up. Why? Well, it adds a little bit of, I'm not going to say like tutorship, but just a little bit of a safety net. I don't want to have Will Levis get hurt and then you're going to Malik Willis. I just don't feel comfortable with that idea. But I'm not Ran Carthon. Maybe he thinks differently. Maybe he will sign a veteran quarterback and still have Malik Willis on the roster in 2024. We'll just have to see. But guess what? Either way, you can make sure you're checking out all the events in Nashville or your area with Game Time, one of our proud sponsors here on Titans Today. And you can get $20 off your first purchase if you go and download the Game Time app and redeem code TitansChat. Now, Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, and theater events in your area. Now, Game Time knows you shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event, and so they're going to give you the peace of mind when buying tickets with their best price guarantee that'll help take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Now, obviously, no more Titans football. NFL is now over officially, so what can you use Game Time for? Well, if you're looking to go check out some sports, Vanderbilt basketball got a couple of good opponents in the SEC. Pretty good seats, pretty cheap on Game Time. You got Texas A&M tonight if you want to go and check them out. Hey, pretty cheap. Plus, hey, college basketball is a good time. March Madness coming up. You also got the Preds. Listen, I love watching hockey. I think it's one of the best sports to go and actually experience in the stadium. Well, guess what? Pretty cheap tickets right there. You use the code TitansChat. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. You're basically going for almost free. You got that money saved up to get yourself some food as well. And their app is super user-friendly. You got a bunch of stuff on their app that you can go check a map, check a list. Lots of ways to kind of explore this app. And like I said, it's not just sports. They've got theater events, concerts. Lainey's coming to town in Nashville. If you want to check her out, they still got tickets on the Game Time app. You can go down there and get that. Last-minute ticket deals, Game Time's your place. Plus, with Apple Pay now, you can get your tickets in less than 2 clicks. Telling you, take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. All you got to do, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code TitansChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code TITANSCHAT, Titans Chat, no spaces, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. Let's talk Amani Hooker because he's one of the ones that would save you a good majority of money depending on where you cut him. But either way, you're getting $4 million if you cut him. Now, his cap hit in 2024 is about $9.3 million. If you cut him before June 1st, you save him 4.3. You cut him after June 1st, 6.8. I kind of want to take a second here to say that I like what I've seen from Amani Hooker, but the money doesn't lie. When this is probably the best cut candidate in terms of bang for your buck, $6.8 million is a lot of money. Now, I sit here and say this knowing the Titans have a top 3 cap savings right now. They're going to have a ton of money to spend in the National Football League once free agency hits here in the middle of March. But are they going to find somebody better than Amani Hooker with this price? Well, let's kind of see what he's done with the Titans in the past 4 seasons. He's been pretty stable for the most part, 20, 16 games played, 51 tackles. He had 4 interceptions that year, one of his better years. But then you kind of see the games start going down. The injuries have kind of just started to hit him a little bit. A little bit more tackles in 2021, had the fumble, just one interception, and 2022 was a little bit of a rough year, but you see those PFF grades, pretty solid across the board. Obviously, 2020 and 2021 were his better years. Past 2 years have been, I'm not going to say down years, but not to what we would expect from Amani Hooker. Now, I've told you a couple of players, but is there somebody that I've missed thus far on this list that you think the Titans should cut to save some money, or you think just doesn't deserve to be on the team in 2024? Well, I want you to get in the comment section of today's video. Name a player the Titans should cut ahead of the NFL season coming up here in now just 6 or 7 months. Here's my take with Amani. He's played well, and I think safety is something the Titans need to focus on in 2024. It was a little bit of a talk of scrutiny, I guess would be the best way to say it. The secondary in a whole was just not the greatest. The injuries, though, they continue to scare me. We saw those gameplay going down and down and down, and I almost think you could find a safer option. It'd probably be a little more money, but a safer option at safety in the next couple of weeks with the free agency coming up and all that. So I don't know if Ran Carthon cuts him. I'm kind of on the edge of Hooker because he's played well in the times he's been on the field, but the injuries scare me. If they do cut him, I would assume it would be post-June 1st, though. That's at least what I would think. Now let's talk about the next guy, Luke Gifford, who, I got to be honest, I'm going to say it right now, he's probably out the door. $2.1 million in cap hit in 2024. If you cut him before June 1st, 1.9. Doesn't matter if it's after June 1st, that's the same amount. Gifford, to put this lightly, he just didn't do anything, to be honest with you. And ultimately, the Titans aren't exactly going to be penny pinching, but they are going to be looking to save money and ultimately open up roster spots for people to sign. You're going to have some futures contracts you could sign. You could have a bunch of stuff coming your way for the Tennessee Titans. So why not save a spot? Obviously, Gifford was hurt throughout the 2023 season. He only played 8 snaps on defense. His primary role, special teams. You're not going to pay more than $1 million for a special teams guru who only plays that. That has really no upside, to be honest. He's going to get cut. It's going to be before June 1st. It's unfortunate, but the NFL is a business, so that's just the way it works. Helps. So the Titans saves around $2 million, boosts that cap space up. Next guy is Hassan Haskins. Now, again, the money here is not a lot, but with the Titans, again, any amount is also equivalent to a roster spot as well. And at this point, it's, are you going to give up on these guys? $1 million in cap hit, savings from $811,000 to $985,000 from pre-June 1st to post-June 1st. Honestly, it's not too much of a increased value after the June 1st deadline, but with Hassan, he didn't play this year. You have Tyjae Spears, who looks really, really good. Whether you keep Derrick Henry or not, I don't know that Hassan has a role on this team because I think you go find somebody else, you sign somebody. Heck, potentially you draft somebody in this year's draft. You got a lot of picks. Haskins, again, didn't play this year. He was on season-ending IR before the season. And on top of which, he got into some legal trouble now that charges have been dropped. But he was placed on the commissioner's exempt list for a couple of games. Either way, he wouldn't have played. But I think I continue my point of whether Derrick Henry stays here, he gets re-signed, Brian Callahan keeps him home or not, I think Haskins is not going to be on the roster in 2024 for the exact reason he almost wasn't on the roster in 2023. He just doesn't fit the profile the Titans are looking for. He was barely going to make the roster in 2023. Ultimately, the whole, getting injured allowed them to just put him on season-ending IR. Unless something really changed in the past 8 months that we just don't know about, I'm pretty sure he's going to be cut by probably before June 1st, to be quite honest with you. I will tell you what, though, we'll have everything covered for you right now. So hit that subscribe button because we have a bunch of stuff coming your way. We have all the free agency news. If they cut somebody, the draft targets, mock drafts, anything you want for your Titans offseason coverage, guess what? It's all right here. So hit that subscribe button. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss out on it because we have the best Titans coverage on YouTube. Let's go to our another cut candidate because it's a little bit of a money saver here with Rashad Weaver. He also, to be quite literal, he's not good. And I think that's the problem here. Is he 2024 cap hit of 1.2. You're saving about $1 million-ish, a little over, either pre-June 1st or post-June 1st. Rashad, to me, just kind of, again, he's kind of like Hassan Haskins. He never fit the profile. He never had oh, here he is. In fact, there was only one moment where they even thought, okay, this guy could be something. It was the first 4 games of 2022. Why? Well, he had 4.5 sacks in those first 4 games. Only finished with 1.5 sacks the rest of the year. Those 4 games were in some ways a quote-unquote Linsanity run, Josh Dobbs experience we saw this year. Those 4 games, he was great. Played a lot, had a lot of tackles, 4.5 sacks, but since then, 1.5 sacks, not a lot of tackles, no forced fumbles. Obviously, in 2021, barely played as a young rookie. He just didn't produce like the Titans thought they might have gotten in 2021. They saw kind of what he could be in that fumble and the sacks, but it just never seemed like he can get back to the level. And this year was kind of a epitome of that. Obviously, Azeez Al-Shaair, the leader of that linebacker room. It's just time to cut him, ultimately. I think at this point in time, he's not fitting the profile. He's 3 years into his rookie contract. It doesn't fit anymore. Cut the ties. Let him go try and find a new home. Let you move on. Save $1 million. I mean, at this point, you have a bunch of money, but every $1 million helps you get close to potentially re-signing Derrick Henry, potentially signing T. Higgins. There's a lot of guys out there that the Titans could get, and I know Ran Carthon wants to work heavily this offseason. I want you to know what the confidence is on the Titans' offseason moves because, well, obviously, they're about to start rolling in troves. So you've seen Ran Carthon, you've seen Amy Adams Strunk. They've talked a lot about how they want to improve this team. What's your confidence level in both Amy Adams, Ran Carthon, and Brian Callahan and the moves to come into the 2024 calendar NFL season? Let me know in the comment section scale of 1 through 10. We appreciate you as always. Make sure you're hitting that like button if you love the Titans because, listen, right here on Titans Today, we're putting out great Titans content, and we want the Titans to be playoff bound in 2024. So make sure you're hitting that like button because guess what? More likes, more videos, more coverage of the Tennessee Titans for you. We always appreciate you, and as always, Titans fans, tighten up and peace out.